Have you ever felt like you're at a crossroads holding onto a relationship or friendship because it's comfortable, familiar, but deep down you know it's holding you back from truly flourishing? It's a tough pill to swallow, realizing that sometimes the people closest to us, the ones we've laughed with, cried with, and shared countless memories with, might not be meant to journey with us forever. It's a stark revelation, isn't it? But here's where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism sheds a transformative light on our modern dilemmas. The Stoics, with their profound insights into human nature and the pursuit of a fulfilling life, remind us that personal growth often requires making hard choices about who we allow into our inner circle. It's not about cutting people out with cold indifference, but about curating our lives with intention, choosing relationships that uplift, inspire, and challenge us to be our best selves. So if you're standing at that crossroads feeling the weight of a decision that could redefine your path, you're not alone. Today we dive deep into the heart of Stoic wisdom to explore the signs it's time to lovingly release certain ties, making space for new growth, deeper connections, and a life aligned with your highest virtues. Stay with me as we embark on this journey together, guided by the timeless teachings of Stoicism, ready to discover the freedom and peace that come from choosing our relationships with wisdom and courage. And as we navigate this journey, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, share this video with someone who might need to hear this message, and don't forget to like and watch every part without skipping, because every moment of this exploration could be the one that transforms your life. If a relationship is stopping you from growing, it's a red flag. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever found yourself feeling stuck, like you're not moving forward because someone close to you isn't cheering you on, or worse, they're actively holding you back? It's a tough spot to be in, isn't it? Seneca was all about the power of personal growth and self-improvement. He believed that to live a life worth living, we must constantly evolve, learn, and push our boundaries. So if you're in a relationship, whether it's with a friend, family member, or partner, and you feel like you're not able to grow, Seneca would probably tell you that's a red flag you can't ignore. Now, I'm not saying every relationship has to be about pushing you to your limits or setting world records, but the people who care about you should want to see you flourish. They should be your cheerleaders, your support system, not anchors dragging you down to the depths of what if and if only. It's worth sitting down and having a heart-to-heart with yourself. Ask, why am I still holding on to this relationship? Is it out of habit, fear, loyalty? These are hard questions, but necessary. Because here's the thing, true connections, the ones that are really worth your time and heart, should lift you up. They should make you feel like you're capable of being more today than you were yesterday. Stoicism teaches us the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who contribute positively to our lives. It's not about accumulating friends or being liked, it's about curating a circle that enriches your life, encourages your growth, and aligns with your values. So if you find yourself in a relationship that feels more like quicksand than a launching pad, it might be time to reconsider its place in your life. Remember, it's not selfish to want to grow, it's human. And sometimes, growth means letting go of those who hold us back, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained from knowing when to say goodbye. Reflect on your relationships and consider whether they are bridges to your best self or barriers to your growth. And remember, the journey of self-improvement is never a solo trip. We need the right companions to truly make the journey worthwhile. We've all felt at one point or another being caught in a whirlwind of negative emotions within a relationship. Ever find yourself in a situation where it feels like drama is the main course and support is, well, not even on the menu? It's exhausting, isn't it? Marcus Aurelius had some powerful insights into dealing with our emotions. He famously said that we have control over our minds, not over external events, and realizing this is where our true power lies. This is a game changer when you apply it to relationships filled with jealousy, anger, or any other negative emotion that seems to dominate the landscape. Think about it, if your relationship feels more like a battleground than a safe haven, it's a signal loud and clear that something's gotta give. These emotions, while part of the human experience, shouldn't be the foundation or the defining traits of any relationship that's meant to last and bring you peace. Now, I'm not suggesting that we can or should aim to live without ever feeling angry or jealous. That would be like trying to breathe without air. But what Marcus Aurelius teaches us is that we're in the driver's seat when it comes to our reactions to these emotions. If jealousy arises because a friend seems to be moving forward in life while you feel stuck, or if anger bubbles up every time a certain someone undermines you, remember, you control your reaction. You can choose not to let these emotions dictate the terms of your relationship. But what does that look like in practice? It starts with awareness, recognizing when you're feeling these emotions and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? What can I learn from this? How can I respond in a manner that aligns with the person I aspire to be? These aren't easy questions, but they are essential ones. And sometimes, the healthiest reaction is to create distance or make a change. It's not about running away from problems but acknowledging that if the core of a relationship is more about pulling each other into negative spirals rather than lifting up, it might be time to reassess. This doesn't mean you failed or that the other person is a villain in your story. It's simply recognizing that not every relationship is meant to endure every season of our lives, and that's okay. The Stoics were big on the idea of living in accordance with nature, and sometimes, the natural course of things is to grow apart. So if you find yourself constantly wrestling with negative emotions in any of your relationships, take a moment, reflect on Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Remember, you have the power over your mind, your reactions, and ultimately, the choice to surround yourself with relationships that are rooted in positive, supportive energies. It's in these environments that we can truly thrive, grow, and find peace. Let's not let the drama define our relationships. Instead, let's cultivate connections that are based on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine support, because at the end of the day, those are the relationships that withstand the test of time and bring out the best in us. Let's tackle a tricky but crucial topic, the role of manipulation and control in our relationships. In any kind of relationship, feeling like you're more of a puppet than a partner is a massive red flag. It's about time we talk about autonomy, freedom, and the sage advice of Epictetus, who once said, "No one is free who is not master of himself." Think about that for a moment. True freedom, according to Epictetus, comes from within, from being in control of our actions, decisions, and ultimately, our lives. So what does it mean for us when we find ourselves in relationships where we feel like we are not the ones calling the shots, where our decisions, desires, and even our thoughts seem to be under someone else's control? It's a sign, loud and clear, that something's not right. Manipulation and control can sneak up on us in various forms. It might be subtle, like constant suggestions that steer you away from your passions, or more overt, like outright demands dictating who you should be or what you should do. These are not the hallmarks of a healthy relationship. True connections, the ones that are really worth our time and emotional investment, are built on mutual respect and freedom. Stoicism teaches us about the importance of autonomy, being the master of your own ship, so to speak. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly second-guessing your choices or feeling like your wings are clipped, it's worth asking why. Why stay in a dynamic that stifles your freedom and keeps you from being the author of your own life story? Here's the thing, cutting ties with someone who's manipulating or controlling you isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about honoring your worth, your autonomy, and your right to lead a life that's true to you. It's about taking Epictetus's wisdom to heart and reclaiming your freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, to grow, to live a life aligned with your values. And yes, making the decision to step away from such relationships can be incredibly tough. It might mean letting go of something familiar or even someone you care deeply about. But remember, Stoicism isn't about taking the easy path, it's about taking the right path. Sometimes the right path is the one that leads us away from what harms us and towards a more authentic, fulfilling existence. True relationships, the ones that genuinely enrich our lives, are those that respect our individuality and freedom. They encourage us to explore, to question, to grow. They don't try to mold us into something we're not or dictate how we should live our lives. So if you're feeling like someone's pulling your strings, take a moment to reflect on Epictetus's words, "No one is truly free who isn't master of himself." Ask yourself if it's time to cut those strings and embrace the freedom to be authentically you. It's a journey worth taking, a step towards a life where you're in control, surrounded by relationships that uplift and respect your autonomy and freedom. Let's cherish and seek out those connections that empower us, that allow us to be the masters of our own lives, because at the end of the day, that's what true friendship and love should do: set us free, not hold us back. What happens when a relationship starts to do more harm than good? When the time you spend with someone leaves you feeling more drained than energized, more stressed than supported. It's like you're constantly walking on eggshells, caught up in an endless cycle of arguments, or just feeling down whenever they're around. These are glaring red flags that something is seriously off. Healthy connections, the kind we all deserve and should strive for, are supposed to feel good. They're meant to enrich our lives, bring us joy, and support us through the ups and downs. They're not supposed to complicate our lives with constant stress or make us question our worth. The Stoics were all about living in harmony with nature, including our own nature, and pursuing a life of virtue and tranquility. They believed in the importance of maintaining relationships that are in line with these principles. So if you find yourself in a relationship that's pulling you away from peace, from being your best self, it's worth considering what the Stoics might advise. They'd likely encourage us to take a step back and examine the situation objectively. Is this relationship contributing to your well-being? Is it helping you grow as a person, or is it a source of constant negativity, draining your energy and leaving you feeling worse for wear? If it's the latter, it might be time to question whether this connection is truly serving your highest good. Remember, Stoicism teaches us the value of self-awareness and the courage to make difficult decisions that align with our well-being and virtues. It's not about being cold or unfeeling, it's about recognizing what's truly beneficial for us in the long run, and sometimes, that means making the tough choice to distance ourselves from relationships that do more harm than good. This isn't to say that every rough patch means a relationship is toxic or should be ended. But if you're consistently feeling worse because of someone's presence in your life, it's a sign that something needs to change. Healthy relationships might have their challenges, but at their core, they're sources of support, love, and mutual growth. So if you're nodding along, feeling like this resonates with your current situation, take a moment to reflect. Consider what steps you can take to address the issues at hand. Communication is key. Perhaps it's time for an honest, open conversation about how you're feeling. If things don't change, remember, it's okay to prioritize your peace and well-being. The Stoics would remind us that our responsibility to ourselves includes nurturing relationships that are healthy and letting go of those that aren't. Let's commit to seeking out and cultivating connections that feel healthy, that add to our lives rather than complicate them, because at the end of the day, we all deserve relationships that bring us joy, growth, and tranquility. And remember, it's through facing these challenges, making these tough decisions, that we grow stronger and more aligned with our true selves. That's the Stoic way, embracing what serves us and having the wisdom to let go of what doesn't. Lack of mutual respect is another deal breaker. Without respect, there's no foundation for anything positive. Without respect, what do we really have? It's like trying to build a house on sand. Eventually, everything's just going to collapse. The Stoics, who were pretty big on the whole concept of living a virtuous life, placed a huge emphasis on self-respect and the respect we owe to others. They believed that every individual possesses inherent worth and dignity, and this belief should be reflected in how we treat each other. So if you find yourself in a relationship where you're not being treated with the dignity you deserve, it's a massive red flag. It's not just about feeling undervalued, it's about recognizing that a fundamental aspect of your humanity is being disregarded. Mutual respect is the bedrock of any healthy connection. It's the foundation upon which trust, love, and genuine understanding are built. If that's missing, then what's left? You're left with a relationship that's hollow, unfulfilling, and frankly not worth your time and emotional investment. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, but what if it's not that simple? What if I really care about this person? And that's a fair point. Relationships are complex, and emotions are powerful. But here's where the wisdom of Stoicism can guide us. The Stoics were all about clarity, rationality, and living in alignment with our highest values. They would encourage us to take a step back and assess our relationships through this lens. Are we being true to ourselves by staying in a situation where we're not respected? Are we honoring our inherent worth and the virtues we strive to live by? If the answer is no, then it might be time for a serious reassessment. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting someone out of your life with cold precision. Instead, it's about recognizing your own value and making decisions that reflect that. It might mean setting clearer boundaries, having a heart-to-heart conversation about how you're feeling, or, in some cases, acknowledging that it's time to move on. Remember, respecting yourself and insisting on being treated with respect by others is not selfish or demanding, it's a reflection of the self-worth that the Stoics believed each of us should cultivate. It's about living with integrity and ensuring that your relationships reflect the respect and virtue you strive for in your own life. So, if you're dealing with a lack of mutual respect, take a moment to reflect on what that means for you and your well-being. Consider how you can address this issue in a way that honors your dignity and values, because at the end of the day, every one of us deserves to be in relationships where we're treated with the respect and consideration we'd give in return. Let's strive to cultivate connections that are rooted in mutual respect, where each person is valued and appreciated for who they are. That's the kind of relationship that not only survives, but thrives, reflecting the best of what it means to live a life grounded in Stoic wisdom and virtue. Feeling tethered to illusions rather than reality? Stoicism, at its heart, is about acceptance, accepting the reality of our lives, our relationships, and the world around us, not as we wish them to be, but as they truly are. The Stoics, with their pragmatic and grounded approach to life, teach us that there's profound strength and freedom in seeing things clearly, without the rose-colored glasses that illusions often provide comfort, shielding us from harsh realities. So, what does this mean for our relationships? Well, it means taking a hard, honest look at them and asking ourselves whether they're rooted in reality or if we're holding on to a fantasy. Are we ignoring red flags, glossing over issues, or painting a picture of someone that doesn't quite match up with who they really are? If so, we are not doing ourselves or our partners any favors. Being tethered to illusions in a relationship can feel like being stuck in a mirage. From a distance, everything looks perfect, but as you get closer, you realize it's just an illusion, lacking substance and truth. This isn't to say that hope and aspirations have no place in relationships, they do. But there's a fine line between healthy aspirations and losing ourselves in fantasies that detract from our ability to engage with the genuine nature of our connections. Embracing the truth, as the Stoics would advise, is about confronting these illusions head-on. It's about having the courage to recognize and accept the reality of our relationships, even when it's uncomfortable or painful. This is no easy task, it requires a level of honesty and vulnerability that can be daunting. But there's incredible power in truth. It's the foundation upon which genuine, meaningful relationships are built. The process of embracing reality over illusion can be transformative. It might mean acknowledging that a relationship isn't what you thought it was or that the person you're with isn't who you hoped they would be. This realization can be a bitter pill to swallow, but it's also a crucial step towards genuine growth and emotional freedom. It opens up the space for you to engage in relationships that are authentic, where you can love and be loved for who you truly are, not for the illusions you've constructed. So, if you find yourself feeling tethered to illusions, take a moment to reflect. What aspects of your relationship are real, and what parts have you embellished or imagined? How does this alignment, or lack thereof, with reality affect your happiness and well-being?